Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the best teams for the Great League. We're going to have here today 10 top teams, 5 from the community and 5 from me. Okay, one of them I just kind of want to really make a Pokemon work. We're going to take a look at it here today. Of course, it's going to be 10 suggestions for you, and of course, if you enjoy the content, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Would really appreciate it, as I'm aiming at least to try to get a bit more towards regular content again. It's going to be bit up and down sometimes, but it is what it is. And let's start off with team number 1, which is going to be first 5 teams from the community here from Reezy. I'm not too sure, like they were actually running Shadow Celio. I'm not too sure on their Fortress moveset. I do think in the Go Battle League currently Volt Switch is the better move to go for. That is my personal opinion, but it could be also that you would run Bug Bite. But then again, I do think Bug Bite is quite a bit stronger if you have the Shadow version of the Fortress, not the non-Shadow version. This is going to be definitely the non-Shadow version. But it's mainly about the Umbreon. Umbreon is a very cool Pokemon, as you're gonna see as well. It seems to be very strong in the current meta, basically needy beating every single Pokemon that is currently top tier. So it's, I think, a Pokemon that a lot of people sleep on. It. Like, it's not going to be a Pokemon that you see quite often, but I think it's a Pokemon that is definitely worth, at least looking at. And here, Celio most likely was the say-sub for this team. I wasn't too sure, but now I do think that Celio seems to be the better say-sub for this team generally, because you're also going to be able to bait out something like a Tinkerton. But as a Celio, you actually are going to be quite okay still against it, as you have the neutral Surf and you're going to outspeed them. So I do think Celio is the better say-sub for this team. Umbreon should be the closer, and here difficult matchups. Morpeko definitely, because Morpeko resists all the fast moves other than the Celios, but hits basically Celio for super effective damage. Umbreon really doesn't want to go up against it, and Fortress, if you have Energy and Fortress, it's actually alright. But then the Annihilate is actually really tough for this team to deal with, but you don't really see it that often. So it's going to be grand, and this was a team that they used with great success. So let's move on to the next one, which is a team, I saw it on Twitter. Basically, all the teams are from Twitter. I just always look around in Twitter and see, okay, what are people running? What is something that you maybe want to try out yourself? This is a team that is not really that special, because it is a core that we've seen all over again for like at least 20 seasons now at this point. Dragon and Steel together is just so good. There was a time as well where Dragonite was also paired with like Registeel and stuff like this. But yeah, basically Steel Dragon Core, really, really strong. Safe Stop Corviknight is just one of the safest picks in the current meta. It has great coverage, it has Sandtag, it has Air Cutter, it has Payback, and then Aegislash currently is one of the strongest Pokemon. Like, it's literally considered as one of the top tier Pokemon of the current Go Battle League meta, and for good reason, because look at this thing, it just destroys nearly everything. And I do think it's going to be a good Pokemon to run for the current meta. Team number 3 is going to be a team around Castform. It's a team that I put in here because I want to try to run it. And I do think it's going to be an interesting one here. Castform got buffed with the Energy Ball. Had Weather Ball normal as well otherwise. But I think Energy Ball gives you just great coverage, and it's very difficult to have good matchups against Castform, because there's basically just Pokemon that are going to be kinda weak-ish against it. Like, yeah, like the best Pokemon to battle against here from the top Pokemon of this list is, I actually don't know. It's most likely Guzzlord, because Guzzlord resists the fast moves and you have to go for Weather Ball or Rock. But basically everything else on this list, you're doing like neutral damage minimum, if not super effective damage. So Castform is absolutely a sleeper pick of this meta. We have the Sableye with the Rain Punch, which is quite a unique thing as well. It kinda recently came up as well in order to deal with those steel types as well, especially the normal type Pokemon a bit better. Drain Punch got buffed and honestly made quite a big difference for the Sableye. So Drain Punch is the tech that I've seen actually quite often, especially from pro players recently. Tinkerton as a closer here is actually really, really solid as well. It just works out quite well with a Castform, gives you another answer as well to fighting type Pokemon in theory, at least. Like, they do neutral damage against you, you do super effective damage with your fast move. It's just a very good Pokemon, just a very cool core, and I do want to try this team out. I think it's a fantastic team, and I do think that Castform is a Pokemon that people just don't really think about right now. And we have here next up a triple Shadow team that I saw as well, that someone had great success with the Ninetales. Ninetales, mostly one of the strongest, if not the strongest Pokemon in the current meta. I hate going up against this Pokemon. It is so spammy, and even if it's in matchups that it doesn't really like, it's still going to do so much damage against you. But also because you can spam Weather Ball so fast, you're going to be able to get out of those matchups in just a little bit. Like you just don't have to go for like 2-3 Weather Balls, maybe use a shield or two, and you're going to be able to still preserve your 9 hits for later on. You can't really lock it in and knock it out unless you're going to run something like the Mud Slap, I guess. But Mud Slap, even then, 9 hits does have some solid bulk as well. It's just gonna take a while, and then Mud Slap users are going to be ground type and they're weak to weather Energy Ball. So that's why Ninetales is so busted in the current meta with the recent change to Energy Ball. And yeah, we see here as well, this team looks really, really cool. Seedling most likely again the Say-Swap. I wouldn't really want to run the Pidgeot Say-Swap. Pidgeot recommended moveset is, by the way, Wing Attack, the Twister, and the Brave Bird, which personally I don't recommend. I don't think that is the right call. I think this is the right call to go for Gust Air Cutter, personally, and looks like perfect in the meta as well. But yeah, I do think that PvPoke is a bit wrong there. I will make a video towards Pidgeot as well on this channel. I already had the gameplay from the last time Great League was available, even though it's actually all the time available with a special experimental cup, which I just don't like the new system, so I don't run it. But yeah, Pidgeot, definitely a good Pokemon. Next up, we're going to have here Shadow Kingdra. This is the last team that I saw on Twitter. I saw more teams on Twitter, but just went for the teams that I found most interesting that I think were kind of cool. Kingdra here got access to Surf this season, which makes it a bit more reliable, a bit better to run right now. I've seen people run Surf as well as the Outrage together instead of the Swift to have like immediate like insane pressure with the charge moves. But here we have the Licky Tinkaton in the back. Kind of covers the weaknesses, of course. The Elite is going to be weak to the Fairy-type Pokemon, which Tinkaton can deal with quite easily, other than other Tinkatons, because you're going to end up with an energy disadvantage. But Licky Say-Swap here is going to be an interesting Pokemon as well. It's just going to be there all the time, basically. One of the most common Say-Swaps in the current meta. That's why I always kind of like to have like a fight on the back, just because the amount of times you have Licky coming into you is ridiculous. Or Ferret, or Dunsparce, or whatever, Kecleon nowadays. Like, fighting type Pokemon in the bag actually is quite nice to have as well in the current meta. But we're going to take a look now at Mantine. I do think Mantine is going to be a fantastic pick right now, and I do love the fact that you have kind of the old school callback again with the Galarian Stunfisk. Mantine got access to Twister, giving it a cheaper move to get to, and that is definitely quite significant for it, because you have now way better pacing, and this Pokemon is insanely bulky, and this Pokemon is an amazing type. Like, water and flying is amazing because you're going to only have like 2 weaknesses, I think, which is electric, which is a double weakness. That's why you have to have Stunfisk on the back. And rock, which is a singular weakness, which, again, Stunfisk completely destroys. And this is why this is such a good core, because if you take a look then on the Pokemon that Stunfisk can't deal with, Fire type, you have Mantine, Water type Pokemon, Fighting type Pokemon, Mantine, Flying type Pokemon, Ground type Pokemon, Mantine, Flying type and Water type Pokemon, both going to be very good for that one. And you see already, like, this is going to be basically the best answer to the weaknesses of Stunfisk, and so I do think that this is a fantastic team to run. You can go for the Licky Say-Swap in order to bait out potential fighting type Pokemon, for example, but you can also use other Say-Swaps here as well if you want to. There are more options for you available, but I do like the Licky quite a bit here. But you can go also for Ferret if you want to have a bit of a better answer to like ground type Pokemon that might want to swap into you, but also you can go for Solar Beam Licky, which is one of my favorite Pokemon to run, because it's, yeah, Solar Beam is just a fun move to go for. And again, it's kind of foreshadowing for a video that's coming up eventually on this channel as well, so definitely stay tuned for that. But yeah, very fun team here. I think it's a fantastic team. It's like one of the strongest teams. I definitely would want to try this team out. Yeah, and I will try this team out. It's such a good team to run. It's kind of here more of a reverse version of it. Here you have the normal Stunfisk there, the Unova Stunfisk. I want to kind of showcase a little bit more Seeking again. Seeking is a Pokemon that I think is fantastic right now with a different pacing now to Drill Run. And I want to have like kind of Elite that's also a ground type Pokemon, because most people want to mostly sub out into the Pokemon that it would be otherwise weak to ground type Pokemon into your Say-Swap. And in this case, we have more ground type coverage here in the Drill Run on the Seeking, which, yeah, makes Pokemon so much more interesting. You need 2 legacy moves on this Pokemon, but in my opinion, it's absolutely worth it in the current meta. And then you have here as well as a closer the Pelipper or the Mantine. I do think that Pelipper would be kind of cool here as well. Pelipper is going to benefit quite a bit from the Hurricane change, makes it a bit stronger there. So, like, both of those flying and water type Pokemon are a bit stronger, which also kind of attracts those electric type Pokemon in the current meta, like the Unovan Stunfisk. Okay, this is kind of the top core of the last 5 seasons, and the top core of the last 5 seasons got a better Say-Swap. Yeah, Kanto Ninetales with Altaria and Poyon is just crazy. Sorry. And then you have Dugong as an alternative option as well. That is just wild. Ninetales is really cool here because it sets up Empoleon in the perfect way. Why? Because you have a lead, it's going to be good against ground type Pokemon. You have a Sasop that is definitely going to bait them out, but still has coverage against them as well, thanks to having Energy Ball. And so this is why this team works out so well. This is why I think this is a fantastic lineup. And Empoleon in the back is just really good together with the Altaria. I actually only just realized that Mantine actually is not the worst matchup here. Like, it's going to be quite difficult for you to deal with, basically, because your lead is going to be weak to it, and your Sasop are going to be weak to it. Empoleon should be kind of alright against it, though. But if you want to avoid this, use Dugong. Dugong is going to be very good against Mantine. Okay, second to last team, we're going to have here Swanna. Why? Because I did do quite a lot of battles in the Go Battle League for the Great League this season already, and this Pokemon surprised me. I didn't expect this Pokemon would be that strong, and Swanna actually is amazing, but what you kind of need to have is a bulk around it, because you need to use your shields for it. With Gust, Aqua Jet, as well as the Fly, you have so much pressure against the opponent. You can even go for Ice Beam if you want to have coverage against like those Dragon type Pokemon a bit better, but Fly and Gust usually works out quite well as well. But yeah, Seismitoad is going to be our Sasop here, going to have extra Icy Wind, is amazing update there as well for this Pokemon. And then Diggersby in the back is going to be really good just in order to counter those electric type Pokemon, which Swanna can't deal with. So that's why you have 2 ground type Pokemon there, and 2 ground type Pokemon that do quite different things. Here we're running Mudshot Diggersby as well, getting to those moves a little bit faster, but here we are not. And this is a team where I'm thinking, okay, yeah, it's more of a fun one, because I want to take a look at Shadow Starmie. I do think that Shadow Starmie is fantastic. Like, you have Psywave, like, you have Aqua Jet, you have Power Gem. This Pokemon is just so much fun. Aqua Jet now got buffed, or like got added onto this Pokemon at the last move update, which makes it so much better. Aqua Jet is a 40 energy move, which means you're going to be able to outspeed most of the current meta with their Starmie, and then you have Diggersby and you have Tinkaton in the back. But I didn't really find a team where I was too happy with. So my question for you down below is, what team do you think Starmie could shine in the best? Because this was my idea here with Quick Attack Diggersby, but I feel like there could be even better ideas out there. So let me know down below, what do you think? What team are you running right now? Are you excited for the Great League to come back? And that's going to be it for this video though, and I will see you then. Bye bye.